What is going on, guys? It is Zach Attack, and today we have another episode of Adventure Quest Worlds, and today it's going to be a very interesting and long video, because today we're going to be counting down the top 5 farming classes in Adventure Quest Worlds. Yes, that is right. So, yeah, let's get started. So the first one I'm going to say is going to be Scarlet and Blood Sorceress. I have that on right now, as you can see on my character. And basically what it does, it's such a good class. There's two ways to get this class. You can either buy it with ACs, or you can join Tower of Mirrors. So we're gonna go there really quick. Okay, so here's what you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to go to this place. I would suggest doing the quest line first. Once you do the quest line, it'll be way easier to get to the boss. So really quick, I'm gonna go to a different tower because this one is full. Alright, so we're at a private one, so I'll show you where the boss is. So if you go to the left and then go up about 3 times, then go to the right, and then go down, you will see the boss, and the boss is Scarletta. And so basically, once you fight this boss, Scarletta, she has 94k health. If you need some help, do some friends or whatever. Or even if you didn't complete the quest line and people are fighting Scarletta, you can just / go to them, and you can pretty much fight with them. If you didn't do the quest line and you really don't want to. I've done that a couple times until I just got sick and tired of it and just did the quest line, and it's a very interesting quest line. But anyway, you come here and you fight this chick, I guess, I don't even know what this thing is, but you fight this, and it's, I think, a 5% drop for Blood Sorceress, and you get Blood Sorceress off of her, and then once you turn level 50 you get to Scarlet Sorceress, which is better. And so it's very fun and easy to use, and it's Wides in number 5 in the list that I have. So let us go kill some stuff with it. Alright, so basically the combo that I use is once you do 5 a bunch of times and it stacks up, which I do about 2 to 3 times before I start fighting. Then after that you're going to use 3, 2, 4. That's your combo. So use 3, 2, and 4, and it's pretty simple. It hits really hard, and it has a lot of damage over time once you know how to use it, and it's really fun with this class. It's very cool. Okay, so here is the stats for this class. The strength is 33 plus 34. The intellect is 179 plus 178 or 78. Excuse me. Endurance is 109. 43, dexterity is 60 plus 34, wisdom is 81 plus 52, and luck is 81 plus 184 because of your luck enhancements. The hit percent damage is 98.10, which is pretty interesting. The haste is 15.80%, the crits is 27.29%, and the evasion is 18.43%. It's not a lot of evasion, but it's still up there. That's the stats for the class. The attack power is 134, I forgot about that, and spell power is 700. And so anyway, rank 1, basically it doesn't have any mana loss, which I think is really nice. Not a lot of classes do that. And it lowers your blood count of emit a wave of blood, dealing moderate damage up to 3 enemies. Regains some of your spilled blood and a couple of moments of casting, made stronger by stacks of Crimson Ritual. Also applied decay. Cannot heal to your foes for 6 seconds, so they cannot heal if they are healing for 6 seconds, and cost 10% of max health per target. So once you are fighting let's say 4 targets, you lose about 40% of your health. So you're gonna have to careful once you do, you know, number 2, your second rank. Not second rank, your first rank, sorry. Your second rank is gonna cost 25 mana, and it's an 8-second cooldown, and is magical, and it's blasts adaptive magic energy hitting up to 3 targets, dealing escalating weapon damage. Applies hypothermia, to your opponent, and hyperthermia to your, lowering their haste by 5% and increasing yours by 20 for 6 seconds, and effect buffs Crimson Ritual, also 40% chance of stunning enemies for 3 seconds. So that's pretty interesting. It's 5% haste more and 20% increasing yours by 20 by lowering theirs by 5. Sorry. So while their haste lowers, you're up by ×3, which is really nice, and it also can do Crimson Ritual, which is 40% chance of stunning enemies. So when you're fighting out there and these guys are kind of hard, you can stun them and actually get some hit points on them, which is really nice. Then for your rank 3, you're gonna have Malevolence, which is, I think I said that right. 35% mana and 15-second cooldown, and it's magical and absorbs all life force around you. Preparing a massive attack, applies Wrath of the Blood Mage, and the user up to 3 hostile targets, heals you while mirroring some of healing on your enemies. After a few moments, unleashes cataclysmic spell damage to all your foes while mirroring some of the damage back to yourself. Can't miss but can't crit. So it's good, but you have to use it very sparingly or it will hurt you, and it won't just hurt you, but I think it'll heal your enemies. I haven't used that in a while. And so yeah, that's what that Malevolence does. And then for your rank 4, you have a passive ability increasing your damage output by 12%, and increasing healing by 25%, but lowers endurance by 10, which is okay and not okay at the same time. And your rank 5, which is 5-second cooldown, which is Crimson Ritual, lowers your blood count and empower yourself, granting new awakened abilities. Applies Vermilion Pact, increasing your healing by 20%. Arcane Pact, increasing spell damage by 50%. Mirroring Pact, increasing your damage resistance by 10%. All packs last 8 seconds, stack up to 5. Cost 10% max health. So basically what that does is that when you hit this skill, you hurt yourself, but you make yourself super powerful to your enemies, and it's very interesting to use. And so that's basically the class overview for Scarlet Sorceress. So basically the enhancements on what you need for this class, I would say Wizard. The only reason why is because you don't really need damage for luck. You need more survivability, because most of your classes do damage on you if you're not careful. So you need survivability to get through your enemies, and that is a very good enhancement to have. So for farming, I give it an 8.5 out of 10 for farming, because it's not a bad class at all, but it's not like the best class in the game that you would use, in my personal opinion. All of these is my personal opinion. So that is Blood/Scarlet Sorceress, and on to the next one. Okay, so the next class at the number 4 spot is Vampire Lord. Now, Vampire Lord I've played with, and it's actually a really fun class to play with, not only because of like the output damage it does, but the animations are just so cool. And so basically how you obtain this class is you either buy it with ACs, which is 2000 ACs, or you have to /join Blood Moon and do a repeatable quest for Blood Moon tokens, which is 300 Blood Moon tokens that you need. So I'm just gonna go to Blood Moon. So basically you join Blood Moon, and here's what Blood Moon looks like. There's all 3 darkness over here, and here's the chick, and she would have it here, but the only bad thing is that it is a seasonal class, so it's not really here throughout the year, so you're gonna have to farm for it, because once you farm for it, it's gonna be worth it. It's a really cool class to use. So let us go use this class and see how good it is. Okay, so we're here and let's do some farming. So basically what I use for the combo is 3, 5, 4, 2. So 3, 5, 4, 2. And just do that over and over again, or whatever you want. And as you can see, I'm putting a lot of damage output out there. And I just took them out in a breeze. So let us go over what the stats look like. Okay, so let us go over the status. So the attack power is 447, the spell power is 579, wowee. The strength is 130 plus 34, the intellect is 130 plus 85, and the endurance is 109 plus 44, the dexterity is 109 plus 34, the wisdom is 38 plus 54, and the luck is 27 plus 86. Now the hit percent damage is 97.61%, the haste damage is 19.63%, kinda low. The critical is 21.50% and the evasion is 22.37%. Now the critical and evasion is kind of a little bit more up from Blood/Scarlet Sorceress, so that's really good. So let us go to rank 1, what you get. So the first thing you get is Devour Blood, which is 25 mana, it's 5-second cooldown, and it's a physical attack. It deals damage up to 3 enemies and heals for some of the damage dealt, applies blood loss debuff to your enemies, reducing damage done by 50% for 5 seconds. Does not apply blood loss while Aspect of Bad is active. So basically you get a debuff on your enemies called blood loss, and not only do you heal from the damage that they're dealt, but it's 50% damage that they do is decreased for 5 seconds, so that's pretty darn good if you ask me. The second thing you get for the second rank would be Sonar Scream, which is 10-second cooldown, no mana loss, which is very cool, and it's magical. And it applies Deafen debuff up to 3 enemies, increasing the damage take by 30% for 8 seconds. If you have Aspect of Bat, applies Sonar Sense buff to yourself, increasing your hit chance by 50% for 8 seconds. Can't miss. Does not apply Deafened while Aspect of Bat is active. So basically, if you have Aspect of Bat on while you're fighting, it applies Sonar Sense buff to yourself, which basically increases your hit chance by 50%. So if the guy's dodging you a bunch, they're not going to be dodging anymore. And it increases the damage you take. It's a debuff to 3 enemies, increasing the damage they take by 30%. So it increases the damage by 30%. So if you have this one that increases by 50% for 5 seconds, increases by 30% for 5 seconds, it's going to be a lot of damage these guys are going to take. So the third rank for rank 3 is Ghoul Gorge, which is 25% mana for 8 seconds. It's physical/magical attack. Deals damage up to 3 targets and applies Gorge debuff to your enemies, dealing damage over 12 seconds. Does not apply Gorge while Aspect of Bat is active, so that's why you do it before. 12 seconds, that's crazy. That's a lot of time for you to kick the booty of your enemies while you're going out there and killing them. It's great. Not to mention the fact that this Ghoul Gorge is one of my favorite animations I've ever seen on a class. It's so cool. Anyway, so for rank 4, we're gonna do damage increased by 15%, yay woohoo, and intellect increased by 30%, crit rate reduced by 20, which I think is very interesting, but I don't really think you're gonna need a crit rate when you're upping your percentage by about 80% for you increasing your damage. And last but not least, rank 5, Aspect of Bat. This is what they've been talking about for like all of them. And it's 25 mana for 35-second cooldown, so it's a long cooldown, and it's magical. You take on Bat, the aspects of a bat, your haste and crit chance increase by 500%. That is a lot of percentages for my taste. For 15 seconds, but you deal 50% less damage. You take 50% more damage and no longer apply debuffs to your enemies. So basically, your haste and crit go up a lot, but your debuffs do not go to your enemies. So that is why the combo would be 3, 5, 4, 2. So then you can go out and kick their butts, and then I don't really think you need the debuff for this one, Sonar Scream, and that is why the combo is the combo. Basically, my percentage, like out of 10 on this class, is 8.5, but not too up there in the chart to make it. But these are all really good classes. This is number 4 on my list, and let's get on to class number 3. Alright, so class number 3, in my personal opinion, is Evolved Shaman. Now, I personally do not have this class, but I hear it's a pretty good boy, especially on farming. So let us go over how to obtain it. So basically how you obtain it is with 2000 ACs like every other class, or you slash join Arkan Grove. So let us go do this. Okay, here's what it looks like, and once you're here, you go to this guy. His name is Raced, and you go to the shop, and it will be right here. The only bad thing is that it is required to have rank 10 in Arkan Grove. This is the only reason why I haven't got this class yet. It is required, you cannot get it without it. It is 50,000 gold, and that's pretty easy to farm. You can go with a gold modifier and a couple friends and go farm some bosses or something like that, and you can get that easy. And basically how you get to Arkan Grove rank 10 pretty fast is basically just go around and do missions. What I would prefer is daily missions, and with a rep modifier on your guy. So some daily missions in here costs not costs. The reputation is 2,500 rep, and if you do with the modifier, that's about 5,000. The only bad thing is that they're daily, of course, and there's about 3 to 4 around here. If you need help with that, you can go on YouTube and find that out. But you can also do reputation quests with these guys. They're basically 150 is like the, I guess, average of what you would get. So you get it probably about 300 or a little bit more from the rep modifier as well. So yeah, that's basically how to get it. So let us go over the enhancements. Is all wizard. That's what I would use if I had it. I would use wizard because survivability is very good in this class. And anyway, let's go over the character. Basically, I looked at all the skills and stuff, so let us go over it. So the first skill is Freezing Flame. It's rank 1. The mana is 5 mana, cooldown is 6 seconds, the type is magical, and the description is it deals moderate damage to either burns or foe for damage over time, for freezes your target in place, stunning them for 4 seconds. Effect increases by an elemental gasp. So the AoE attacks 3 targets, so it would have a chance to freeze all 3 targets in place so they don't attack you. So that's really good for when you're fighting a bunch of people and you're sick and tired of being hit. You can use the skill. Furious Gale. It is rank 2, costs 20 mana, 10-second cooldown, and it's magical. And the description is deals heavy damage and reduces enemies haste while increasing yours for a short time. Effects both increased by elemental grasp. So it reduces the other guy's haste while it increases yours, basically. And it deals heavy damage as well once you cast it. The third skill is Refreshing Rain, which the mana cost is 20, 15-second cooldown, and the type is magical, and casts a heal over time on yourself and nearby allies. Heal amounts by increased by Furious Gale. So it can heal up to 4 friendly targets as well, and lasts 10 seconds for a heal over time. So if you're by yourself or with a group, and let's say you're soloing or you're farming by yourself, it's easy to heal yourself a lot and very easily. And the last one is Elemental Grasp, which is rank 5, and the mana cost is 60, which is a lot of mana, and 16-second cooldown, and it's magical. And it deals light damage to target and applies Elemental Grasp, negating all target evasion and critical strike chance. This effect also makes the evolved shaman spells more powerful and gets stronger in more spells the shaman casts against the target. So it's very, very good to use, but very sparingly. So if you're going against enemies, I prefer 2, 3, and 4. But if you are soloing, you should use 5. Personally, what I think you should do. Of course, we have to go over the passive abilities. Increases your intellect by 15%, and then increases crit chance by 8%. And then rank 10 is small chance to greatly increase your power of AoE ability. So your attack of people, basically, your area of effect will be increased a little bit more, so you can get more targets into your spells. Yeah, so I think this class is an 8.5 out of 10 because I personally think that it is a really good class to use, but there's like a couple things that could improve. I would actually push it up to a 9. It's a really good class to use, and I would say that if you bought it with ACs, I wouldn't blame you. It's a really good class to use for farming. So anyway, let us get on to number 2.